Laptop computer spins onto the screen, opens, and displays ATP Education Program webinar series, closes, and then spins off the screen.
Hello, welcome to this webinar on using the education.atforall.com service brought to you by the Nebraska Assistive Technology Partnership Education Program. My name is Jerry Johnson, and I serve as the ATP Education Statewide Loan Pool Coordinator.
And my name is Brian Wojcik, and I serve as the ATP Education Program Supervisor. Let's go ahead and get started. In this webinar, we're going to cover a number of different areas. First, we are going to talk about education.atforall.com and the statewide loan pool and build our understanding of the purpose that for the service exists and how to use it. Next, we will go through how to create an account on education.atforall.com. Then, we will learn how to search for assistive technology tools and systems on education.atforall.com and make a request to borrow them from the loan pool. In the next area, we will develop our understanding of what is expected when borrowing and returning items to the loan pool safely. Finally, we will learn how the ATP Education Program can help IEP and IFSP team members provide quality assistive technology services to students receiving special education. Let's go ahead and learn about the ATP Education Program Statewide Loan Pool, also known as education.atforall.com. So, what is the purpose of education.atforall.com? The ATP Education Statewide Loan Pool can be accessed through education.atforall.com. The statewide loan pool is a service provided by the Assistive Technology Partnership, or ATP, Education Program. The ATP Education Program provides services across the state of Nebraska to IFSP and IEP team members working with children and students with disabilities birth through 21 who are receiving special education services within school systems. All decisions related to assistive technology services and devices are made by the IFSP or IEP team. The vision of the ATP Education Program is to ensure that individual children and students receiving special ed services can be successful by creating systemic capacity that results in high quality assistive technology services for every child or student who needs assistive technology. All items available for loan from the ATP Education Statewide Loan Pool are listed on education.atforall.com. These items and devices are only available for members of an IFSP or IEP team to borrow in order to assess the use of those items with children and students in the educational setting. IFSP and IEP team members may borrow up to 6 items at a time for a 60-day loan period. The purpose of education.atforall.com is to provide Nebraska educational teams with assistive technology items and devices in order to assess the child or students' use of assistive technology for documentation in the IFSP or IEP. Borrowers will have a 60-day loan period in which to trial AT devices with their students. Documentation may be used in the consideration of AT purchases by the school district. The ATP Education Program provides AT items for trial and evaluation purposes only. ATP Education does not sell or rent items at this time. If you would like to purchase an AT item for a student after trialing the item through ATP Education Loan Program, then you will need to follow your school district's protocol for purchasing assistive technology equipment for special education services. As stated before, any educational member of a child's IFSP or student's IEP team, including contracted therapists, can borrow items from education.atforall.com for use in assessing a student or child's AT use in the educational setting. The educational setting is determined by the IFSP or IEP team. For example, early interventionists would be evaluating a child in the home setting, so the borrowed items may be taken to the child's home for evaluation purposes. However, the IFSP or IEP team member who requested the items is still responsible for the care, use, and supervision of those borrowed items if they are left in the home setting. An AT process is critical to the success of creating a good match between a student's needs and potential assistive technology, as well as the overall effectiveness of the assistive technology when it is being used by the student. Let's take a look at this process. This process begins with the assistive technology consideration. Assistive technology consideration is the point at which the IFSP team or IEP team answers the question, does the student need assistive technology? In order to answer that question, they may need to collect additional information about the student and the needs of the student. That may be done through an evaluation of assistive technology needs process. During that process, teams may borrow assistive technology and try the assistive technology to help determine what is effective for the student. Once a decision is made in order to, and that a student needs assistive technology, then it is the responsibility of the IEP or IFSP team to provide that assistive technology. When that assistive technology is provided, the IEP team or IFSP team must then come up with a plan to implement that assistive technology. This includes documenting it within the IEP and IFSP, showing how the assistive technology is going to help the student with accommodations or working towards goals or outcomes. It will also include things like training not only the child, but also those who are working with the child and the child's family. Maintenance of the assistive technology is also important. Once the assistive technology has been implemented, it's important that an assessment and progress monitoring plan also be put in place to determine the degree to which the assistive technology is effective for the child and continues to be needed. This is a cyclical process and happens over and over again in order to meet the child's needs. When we talk about the loan pool, the ATP Education Program statewide loan pool supports the AT process in two ways. First, when gathering data and conducting tool trials during the course of an evaluation of AT needs, IEP or IFSP team members may borrow different AT tools and systems to try with the student, comparing each to determine what is and is not effective to meet the student's needs. This evaluation should be timely to ensure that decisions are made quickly so that the assistive technology may be written into the IEP or IFSP in order to meet the student's needs. Evaluation timelines are proportional to the complexity of the assistive technology and students' needs. The ATP Education Program statewide loan pool may also support IEP and IFSP teams in the provision of assistive technology. For example, when a team determines AT to be necessary within the context of the IEP or IFSP, it is the responsibility of that team to ensure timely provision and implementation of that assistive technology. There may be situations in which the assistive technology that needs to be implemented is in the process of being procured. Teams may borrow assistive technology for up to 60 days in order to make sure that the students' needs are met. Another example may be borrowing a backup assistive technology tool or system when the primary assistive technology, which has already been written into the student's IEP or IFSP, may need to be repaired or replaced. These options are intended as short-term options and should not be considered for the long term. Let me go ahead and turn it over to Jerry, who will talk about using education.atforall.com. We're going to start with, how do we create an account?
Thanks, Brian. So for creating an account on education.atforall.com, for the first time, users will be required to create a new account. To create an account on education.atforall.com, click on Login or Create Account in the upper left-hand corner of the home screen. This will take you to the screen where you will enter your contact information. Please use your professional contact information and not your personal information when creating an account. This address will be used for shipping requested items via UPS. Please enter a street address as UPS will not ship to a PO box. This information will also be used for contacting borrowers if there are any questions or issues with the loan. After entering the required info, you will be asked to agree with account agreement terms. Please make sure to read and understand the terms prior to agreeing to them. You are verifying that you are a member of a child's IFSP team or a student's IEP team. Click Create Account, and a verification email will be sent to the email address you provided. Please click on the link in your email to activate your account. You are now ready to browse, search, and request AT items for loan. Please contact the ATP Education Program if you do not receive a confirmation email as something went wrong in the account setup process. So now we'll talk about how to search for and request items on education.atforall.com. If you know the name of the item you are searching for, you can enter a keyword or phrase into the search box at the top of the homepage. Let's search for scissors. Suggested terms will automatically show up under the search box, and you can choose one of those, or you can push enter when you are finished typing. All items with the word scissors in the name or description will be listed. After searching for scissors, we find that there are 22 items available from the ATP Education Loan Pool. If this is too many options, you can narrow your search by using the filters. You can narrow by general category, program, and transaction type. Only ATP Education statewide program items are listed on loan on education.atforall.com. So that will be the only choice available under the program option. You can also narrow by transaction type, loan, wanted, sale, free, or demo. As of right now, the only transaction type available is the loan option. In the future, education.atforall.com may be used as a place for school districts to list ads for for items wanted, or to create listings to sell unused AT items. To even further narrow the options, click on the Search by Website category. This will open a menu of equipment classifications to choose from. If you know the item number of the equipment, you can also enter that in the search box. If you are unsure of what piece of equipment you are needing, you may browse the general categories listed on the homepage. Once you find an item that you are interested in, you can put it directly into your cart by clicking on the Add to Cart button. Or you can click on the item name or picture, and this will take you to the item page. The item page shows additional information about the equipment, transaction information, including whether the item is currently out on loan, contact information for the loan coordinator, if you have any questions about the item, and item activity. You can also add items to the cart from this page. Once you are finished searching and you have filled your cart, you are ready to check out. Click on the cart icon in the top right-hand corner of the screen and click Checkout. You can also delete items from the cart at this point before checking out. There is a 6-item limit on loans per borrower. At checkout, you will be prompted to choose the primary purpose of the loan. The choices are assist in decision-making, device trial or evaluation, and this will be the most frequently used purpose of the loan pool. You can choose serve as a loaner during device repair or while waiting for funding. And please keep in mind that the loan period is still 60 days. You can choose provide an accommodation on a short-term basis or conduct training, self-education, or other professional development activity. If an item is currently out on loan, you can check the box at this point to be placed on the waiting list for that item. A comment box is available for any comments about the loan for the coordinator, or for you to provide a shipping address if it is different than the address listed on your account. This is particularly helpful for therapists and educators who serve children and students in more than one school building or district. You can indicate which school you would like an item shipped to. The item will be shipped to you, the service provider, to take to the home setting if you are an early interventionist. Remember, as the borrower, you are responsible for the use, care, and supervision of the AT and EDI setting. It is the IFSP or IEP team's decision on what setting is educationally beneficial for the child or student. After completing the information, click Continue. Please review the items and click Process Cart. You've just submitted your request for loan. You will receive a verification email and no further action is needed on your part. The items will be shipped via UPS to your account address unless otherwise indicated in the comment box. The loan coordinator will contact you only if there are any questions about the loan. Please contact the loan coordinator if you do not receive a confirmation email. Once you submit the loan request, no follow-up is required and items will be shipped at the time of request. If a requested item is too large to be shipped via UPS, the loan coordinator will contact you to coordinate delivery of the item by a member of the ATP education team. Borrowers will be limited to 6 items on loan at a time for up to a 60-day loan period in order to complete a timely assessment. Requested items are shipped by UPS directly to the school, ESU, or therapy clinic if contracted through a school. Every shipment will contain 3 pieces of paper: loan instructions, a loan agreement with survey, and a prepaid UPS return label. The instructions will prompt you to sign and fax or email the loan agreement to the loan coordinator immediately upon receipt of items. After faxing or emailing the signed loan agreement, please keep track of this agreement. It contains a survey at the bottom that will need to be completed and returned with the items at the end of the loan period. The information gathered by the survey is required by our funding source, so we appreciate you taking the time to fill it out. Please keep the UPS return label in a safe place as you will be using it to return items. Please keep all packaging materials for use in returning the item. Most loan periods are for up to 60 days in order to complete a timely assessment. Quality AT indicators suggest that assistive technology assessments should be completed within reasonable timelines and proceed according to a timeline that the IEP or IFSP team determines to be reasonable based on the complexity of student needs and assessment questions. Timelines should comply with applicable state and agency requirements. A loan extension may be requested if an AT assessment could not be completed within the 60-day loan period due to unforeseen circumstances or if the student is waiting on delivery of purchased AT. Please fill out the loan extension request form and choose a reason for the request. The extension request will be reviewed and may be granted, but not guaranteed, for up to 30 days past the original due date. So now we'll talk about how to return an item at the end of the loan period. Items are loaned for a 60-day period. 7 days before the end of the loan, you will receive a reminder email that the items are due back. Please double check the loan agreement to make sure you are sending back all items on the loan. Please thoroughly clean items before returning and carefully pack them to prevent damage in transit. Complete the survey at the bottom of the loan agreement and return it with the borrowed items. Completion of the survey will assist with continued funding for the loan program. A prepaid UPS return label is included, so there is no cost to the school district to borrow items from education.atforall.com. Attach the prepaid return label and leave the package with UPS. If a large item was delivered to you by the ATP education team, please contact the loan pool coordinator to schedule a pickup time. And now Brian will talk to us about how the ATP education program can help.
As we mentioned before, the Nebraska Assistive Technology Partnership, or ATP education program, is the program that sponsors the education program statewide loan pool, or education.atforall.com. But the Nebraska ATP education program does a lot more. Let's take a look at this. Assistive technology services for children and students receiving special education in Nebraska start with the people who work with those children and students most directly. Individuals who are members of the IFSP team and the IEP team know the students the best. They know their needs. They know the context in which the students needs to do different types of tasks and knows the tasks that they need to do. They also know where the student is having difficulty. This means they are the best individuals to start this process in determining what assistive technology is needed, making decisions about assistive technology, and ultimately implementing the assistive technology. Our focus as an assistive technology education program is to build capacity. This was a charge given to the Assistive Technology Partnership Education Program by the Nebraska Department of Education. Our focus is on ensuring success of students and children who need assistive technology, but our efforts really focus on supporting those who are supporting the students. This is capacity building. Our job is to provide resources, tools, training, coaching, access to assistive technology, and a number of other supports in order to help quality assistive technology services to occur across the state of Nebraska. This starts with building knowledge of good, effective processes that are needed for quality assistive technology services. It also involves building an understanding of available assistive technology options. We have a number of trainings and supports available in order to help those who are working with students learn about assistive technology, try assistive technology, and receive individual support for thinking about the process related to trying, implementing, and assessing the degree to which assistive technology is effective. If you go to our website at atp.nebraska.gov/education, there are a variety of opportunities and supports that can be accessed. If you have specific questions about the ATP education program or the statewide ATP education program loan pool, also known as education.atforall.com, please go ahead and contact us. You can email us at atp.education@nebraska.gov, phone us at 877 713-4002 or visit our website at atp.nebraska.gov/education. There is a variety of ways to go ahead and request support on the website, including a web form as well as a live chat. Thank you for joining us for this webinar. We hope that it has been helpful and that you will find ways to go ahead and support your students using the resources and supports provided to you by the Assistive Technology Partnership Education Program and education.atforall.com. Thank you again and have a great day.
Thank you for watching. For more information on the ATP Education Program, please visit our website at atp.nebraska.gov/education or email us at atp.education@nebraska.gov.